Every Hollywood story has a hero, the protagonist, whose brave and selfless actions ultimately end up stopping the bad guy. But in the myth about Donald Trump being the most evil man in modern America, there hasn't been a Rosa Parks or a George Floyd type of figure for the dumbed down masses to rally behind. So they manufactured one with Cassidy Hutchinson, an aide to Mark Meadows, who was Donald Trump's chief of staff, who you may recall was rolled out during the primetime January 6th hearing to relay the Operation Mockingbird manufactured story about how Donald Trump supposedly tried to grab the steering wheel of the presidential limo and the driver said that he wasn't going to take him to the Capitol after his speech. Of course, which is utterly ridiculous because there's a security barrier between the driver and the passenger area. Well, she's back with a brand new memoir recounting her horrifying experiences working for the Trump administration. And it is the #1 best-selling book in America, which means that, of course, the Democrat operatives have been buying it in bulk in order to boost it to the top, and they're going to be using it as kindling in their fireplaces this winter. And on Monday and Tuesday, yesterday, when the book came out, she has been on every major show in the entire liberal media industrial complex, and they are literally painting her as single-handedly stopping Donald Trump from getting away with January 6th.
Now it is time for the last word with Lawrence O'Donnell. Lawrence, I know you have a very big guest coming up this evening, and I will be eagerly watching the television to hear everything you discuss with her.
She is a terrible liar. They're trying to portray this woman as if she is like Deep Throat in the Nixon administration. She's going to finally spill the beans that will take Donald Trump down once and for all.
Alex, I have 2 words for you. Cassidy Hutchinson.
Yes.
That's it.
That's all you got to say.
I got to go. I got a lot of work to do here.
Get into it.
Okay.
I'll be watching.
Thank you, Alex. Thank
Bye.
you.
That's the lead story. With everything that's going on in the United States, the lead story is some staff member from the Trump administration almost 3 years ago just talking about how terrible he is.
Well, she went to the Cherry Hill Mall in New Jersey looking for something to wear. She found a white blazer at Zara. There was no reason for anyone to notice the 25-year-old trying on that blazer. No one knew she was out of work, behind on her rent, had lost Wi-Fi service at her apartment because
this is an incredible and dramatic buildup, but just wait for it. Of course, she couldn't have worn any of the clothes that she had in her closet. She had to go and buy a special white blazer so that she could be portrayed as the innocent angel, the new Rosa Parks, who's saving America from Donald Trump.
because she couldn't afford it anymore. The name on the overburdened credit card she used to pay for the blazer meant nothing to anyone in that store. It would be the last time in her life that she could go shopping anywhere in America and not be recognized.
The poor girl is more famous than Taylor Swift now. She can't even leave her house.
In some places cheered, in some places attacked or threatened. A week later, she combined the white blazer
with her CIA Operation Mockingbird talking points, we know,
with rhinestone earrings from Kohl's and a necklace she received 12 years earlier on her 13th birthday. And she changed the course of history.
She changed the course of history. Donald Trump would have gotten away with January 6th if it wasn't for that meddling staffer. On Monday, Rachel Madcow dedicated the entire hour of her show to an interview with her to spew her prepared Operation Mockingbird talking points.
We're talking about a man who, at the very essence of his being, almost destroyed democracy in one day, and he wants to do it again. He wants to run for president to do it again. He's been indicted 4 times since January 6th. I would not have a clear conscience and be able to sleep at night
if you didn't accept your $1 million book deal and accept the role as the protagonist in this dramatic story. Of course, she did The View, and she's all over CNN, spewing the same talking points.
I think that Donald Trump is the most grave threat that we will face to our democracy in our lifetime and potentially in American history.
Oh, and by the way, I don't know if they just started doing it for this topic or if this is the first time that I'm seeing it, but You know how for years YouTube links up Wikipedia articles at the bottom of videos and they talk about certain topics to try to present the other side of the story or context because they don't want people thinking for themselves? And occasionally those info boxes will be linked up on mainstream channels as well. And so now, the first time I'm seeing it for this topic, they have the context box about January 6th. Of course, can't let people be thinking for themselves about that. Gotta portray the official narrative through Wikipedia. And you know how I'm always talking about Operation Mockingbird, right? For years, for 18 years to be exact, since 2005, before YouTube, before social media, back when I was a radio host on GCN. That's the online network that's syndicated or may still syndicate, I'm not sure, Alex Jones' radio show. That's how long I've been talking about Operation Mockingbird. But of course, the hosts at The Blaze and at PragerU and at The Daily Wire and on Fox News and on Newsmax still won't talk about it. So I guess it's just up to me, a guy in a kitchen on a laptop, who, by the way, I do actually have a bachelor's degree in communication from California State University. If anybody cares what my credentials are, to read directly from the Church Committee report, which was published exposing Operation Mockingbird back in the 1970s on page 192 and 193 in the subsection on books and publishing houses, where it reveals that covert propaganda is the hidden exercise of the power of persuasion. In the world of covert propaganda, book publishing activities have a special place. In 1961, the chief of the CIA's Covert Action Staff, who had responsibility for the covert propaganda program, wrote, "Books differ from all other propaganda media, primarily because one single book can significantly change the reader's attitude and action to an extent unmatched by the impact of any other single medium. This is, of course, not true of all books at all times and with all readers, but it is true significantly often enough to make books the most important weapon of strategic long-term propaganda." You didn't think that Operation Mockingbird only manipulated television news and newspapers and social media, did you? Of course they're involved in the book publishing industry, where the Church Committee report goes on to say that according to the chief of the Covert Action Staff, the CIA's clandestine handling of book publishing and distribution could, A, get books published or distributed without revealing any U.S. influence by covertly subsidizing publications or booksellers, B, get books published which should not be contaminated by any overt tie-in with the U.S. government, especially if the position of the author is delicate. C, get books published for operational reasons, regardless of commercial viability. Of course, they don't expect or care to make any money. They just want them printed and publicized for the propaganda. Initiate and subsidize indigenous, national, or international organizations for book publishing or distributing purposes. Stimulate the writing of politically significant books by unknown authors. Of course, the report and the entire Church Committee was only a limited hangout. They tried to portray this as if they were only doing this in foreign media outlets. Of course, they would never do this in the United States, either by directly subsidizing the author if covert contact is feasible, or indirectly through literary agents or publishers. Well over 1,000 books were produced, subsidized, or sponsored by the CIA before the end of 1967. So just imagine what they've done since then. Approximately 25% of them were written in English. Many of them were published by cultural organizations which the CIA backed. And more often than not, the author was unaware of CIA subsidization. So this is how things like this happen. Another conspiracy fact, because there is no way without people pulling the strings behind the scenes and artificially boosting Cassidy Hutchinson into the spotlight and to the top of the bestseller list that she would sell more than 100 copies. Of course, the only way for my new book, which is a secret release and a secret title coming out in about a month and a half before Thanksgiving, to get up to number one is if about 2% of you watching buy the book. Contrary to popular belief, you don't need to sell 100,000 or 50,000 books to get up to number one on Amazon. All you need to do is sell about 5,000 to 7,000 books within a 24-hour period. So my videos average maybe 250,000 viewers per video. So if just about 3% of you watching buy the book the day that it comes out, we can get it to number 1. At the end of 2020, when my book, Hollywood Propaganda, How TV, Movies, and Music Shape Our Culture came out, it made it to number 3 on Amazon's bestseller list, because there's always going to be popular authors who have huge followings, who are endorsed by the mainstream media machine, who are going to be selling 10, 20,000 copies in a day, the day their book comes out. They are going to push them to the top. So we can do it if more than 3% of you, if every single person watching buys the book, if my videos have ever provided you with any quality information or entertainment, buy the book when it comes out, the day I announce it, and let's push it to number 1. Until then, you can save 20% off of any of my shirts at markdice.com today through Saturday by using the promo code Trump2024 at the checkout. So order your new and improved Donald Trump mugshot shirt or any of my awesome designs, all available in a t-shirt, long sleeve, and a hoodie, and a whole bunch of different colors as well. So head on over to markdice.com or click the link in the description below. Enter the promo code Trump2024 at the checkout to save 20% off today through Saturday, and check them out.